Today is the 19th of August 2025. We are tracking several systems across the Atlantic Ocean. Obviously, we have major Hurricane Erin, a Category 3 hurricane now located near the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, and an addition of two areas of interest in the main development region in the Atlantic Ocean. One of them being 99L with low chance of development in the next 2 and 7 days. Another one still hasn't got a number yet, but it has medium chance to develop into a tropical cyclone in the next 7 days. So back to Hurricane Erin right now, downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane by the National Hurricane Center overnight, with winds of 150 miles per hour and a minimum pressure of 955 millibars. On the satellite, you can see the eye structure of Erin is pretty much gone. You can't see the eye anymore, it's really filled up in the last few frames. That's likely due to dry air coming from the northwest and rising wind shear. The size of Erin has certainly grew again, a pretty broad system now with lots of strong convections and outer bands associated with it, particularly towards the eastern side of the system. Just look at those strong rain bands continuing to develop and move across the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, bringing tropical storm condition and strong rain through there. The northwestern side of the center is looking weaker in the last few frames. This is a sign of the storm weakening. And if we look at the water vapor satellite, you can see a large area of black and purple just situated to the northwest of Erin. Some of those even getting wrapped into the center of Erin here, which is causing the convection to weaken around the center. So right now, we have a hurricane that is expanding in terms of the size, but weakening in terms of the intensity. So currently located at 24.8 degrees north, 72.0 degrees west, moving northwestward at 7 miles per hour. So Erin really has slowed down over the last 12 to 24 hours. Usually when a hurricane slows down and kind of stalls in the same area, it indicates a shift in its track. So Erin is likely getting ready for the big shift towards the north that we have been expecting for quite a few days now. Now Erin has moved towards the west more than most forecasts has expected, hence why there is certain adjustment being done in terms of the forecast of the trajectory. It's still going to shift towards the north in the upcoming days, but because the turn is happening later than expected, the forecast of the track is now expecting a closer approach to the eastern coast of the US. Tomorrow, it will weaken to a Category 2 hurricane, but on Thursday, it will regain that status again, winds of up to 150 miles per hour perhaps. Erin is also going to be quite close to the US East Coast on Thursday, including states like North Carolina and Virginia. After that, it will peel away from the seaboard and gradually transition into an extratropical cyclone. We do have our first tropical storm watches issued for the US East Coast. The outer banks of North Carolina currently under a tropical storm watch. There could be a chance of tropical storm force winds and condition starting from Wednesday night in those areas. Storm surge watches has also been issued in the same area. National Hurricane Center expecting a storm surge of up to 2 to 4 feet for the outer banks of North Carolina. That's equivalent to about 1 to 2 meters. As a result of that, we could see some coastal flooding occurring. And for parts of the South Carolina and Virginia, also expecting 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, which is below 1 meter, so that's not overly concerning. Tropical storm force wind probability, you can see those outer banks of North Carolina getting the highest chance with up to 15 to 20%. That could rise further as Erin continues to approach that region. Obviously, we still have a pretty high chance for the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as tropical storm watches and warnings still in effect in those areas. GFS forecast for the winds here, Erin continues to grow its wind field over the next few days, and then the tropical storm force winds is just going to brush off or even slightly latching onto the outer banks of North Carolina. That's expected to happen on Thursday, according to this latest model run, and then tropical storm conditions still going to stay close to land after that. Look at how close it gets to the states like Delaware, Virginia, New Jersey, or even some parts of Maryland. So chances of the tropical storm condition is definitely still there for these areas. And even though they might eventually not experience these winds of up to, maybe tropical storm condition, the winds is still going to pick up over the week across the coastline. especially given that Erin's wind field is going to expand by a lot in the upcoming days. Simulated reflectivity here. On Wednesday, some of those outer bands of rainfall begin to brush into the coastline of the Carolinas. Then those rains still going to occasionally move into the east coast. Not a tremendous amount of precipitation by any means, and by Friday it will pretty much be completely gone. The waves still going to remain as a primary threat coming from Erin because it's going to affect a large amount of area. Starting from Wednesday, we could see waves as high as 4 meters along the coastline of the Carolinas. Bear in mind, this isn't storm surge. Okay, this is the total wave height along the coastline. Just to clarify that in case I make people overly panic, North Carolina perhaps getting the highest waves up to 6 meters for those outer bands, hence why the storm surge forecast and storm surge watches has been issued in those areas. Those northeastern coast also perhaps getting waves of up to 45 meters again along the coastline. So next week, especially midweek, I would not recommend any activity on the water such as jet skiing, surfing, even fishing along the eastern coast. That shouldn't be happening. We need to be watching out with the waves. Sea surface temperature of Erin at the spot of around 29 Celsius up to 30 degrees towards the northwest. That's also inside Erin's predicted track, hence why despite dry air and wind shear, Erin's still expected to remain relatively powerful. Then more towards the north up until outside of Virginia still have temperatures around 29 degrees. So that's obviously going to fuel it to continue to remain as a relatively powerful hurricane. Tropical Atlantic, my bad, those two areas of interest here. The one with medium chance currently located at temperatures up to 29 degrees Celsius, could even reach 30 degrees if it moves towards the west a bit more. 99L around 27 degrees, which is marginally sustainable for development. Both systems looking quite messy and disorganized right now. European ensembles here, these members expecting both systems to perhaps develop into a weak tropical storm. 99L expected to really be a short-lived system. The other one with medium chance probably will move towards the northwest, approaching the Lesser Antilles next weekend, and then peel away into the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, probably making a relatively close approach to Bermuda inside the process. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. See you later.